In 2021, my life was changed forever when I watched an anime called Ranma 1/2, and nothing else happened. Now it's 2024, Ranma has a remake, and I have opinions. Do I like the new anime? Yeah. Does watching it occasionally send me on a rambling tirade about how it's not the original, how anime doesn't resonate the same way it used to, and oh god, it's been 3 years and every AniTuber I once talked to is either retired, no longer covering anime, or just in a completely different phase of life while I've been stuck in limbo? This is a Ranma video, but it is also a video about transitioning. If that bothers you, I'm sorry for your loss. I don't know if it's just me, but new Ranma feels way more like an action series than the original. I've always thought of Ranma 1/2 as a romantic comedy first and a martial arts series second, because there isn't really a set power system. Ranma's anything-goes martial arts facilitates an ever-changing battleground with flexible rules. From rhythmic gymnastics to ice skating to tea. The action is goofy as hell, and the story almost always resets to a status quo by the end of the conflict. Characters pull out new abilities with comically long names because, well, that's the joke. And what's the most common goal they're fighting over? The right to date their love interest. Because as we all know, love isn't about meaningfully connecting with another person. It's about possessing them without their consent. I talk about that more in my other Ranma video, go watch it. I hadn't read the manga when I watched the original anime, so I just assumed it was a faithful adaptation. More importantly though, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was hilarious, I adored its characters and interpersonal conflicts, and gender. I remember hearing the initial announcement of a new Ranma anime and thinking to myself, why? Who asked for this? Why does this need to exist? Has MAPPA not overworked enough animators? Are Zoomers allergic to 4:3 aspect ratios? Do I even deserve to voice my opinion? Am I mentally stable? Am I mentally stable? Am I mentally... As the release date approached, I decided to check my expectations and give it a shot. It was more Ranma after all. I couldn't control its creation, so screw it. If I didn't like it, I could stop watching. Simple. I sat down on my couch, pulled up the first episode on Netflix, and the magic was gone. The jokes weren't funny. The slapstick was more annoying than I remembered. The characters felt like pale imitations of the ones I once knew. I sat there, confused, and week after week, episode after episode, I saw more and more praise for Ranma 1/2 2024. What happened here? What was I missing in this new adaptation? Was anything actually wrong here? Or was there something wrong with me? There are several fundamental differences between the original Ranma 1/2 anime that began airing in 1989 and the modern remake from 2024. Number 1. The aspect ratios. One has way more visual space to work with than the other. It's kinda hard to notice, but I believe in you. Number 2 thing, pacing. Original Ranma adapts chapters at a slower rate than the remake, and this creates a subtle tone shift between the two. There are far more moments of quiet in the original, a change that creates a contrast to the manga's slapstick comedy. Those additional scenes then lay some extra groundwork for the emotional core of the series, its main romance. Gatsu no Lion animation. The original anime effectively blends limited animation with detailed character designs and a rich color palette. These backgrounds and storyboards are gorgeous. The remake simplifies and rounds off the character designs in ways that allow for more explosive and fluid cuts of animation, and the softer color palette completely changes its visual appeal. None of this is inherently bad on the surface, but the deeper I dive into the individual scenes that define each adaptation, the more I drown in the details. Episode 1. In Ranma 89, when the Tendo family runs to meet Ranma, it plays out in a single unbroken cut. They run off screen, Kasumi and Akane follow to see what's going on, but before they can get there, Nabiki and Son frantically re-enter the frame, followed by Ranma and his giant panda father. I think that's a hilarious visual gag, and it's one that is completely absent in the remake. In that version, the same events take place across 8 different cuts, with close-ups on Akane as well as a dark aura surrounding the panda dad. Pan dad? No, definitely not Pan. The remake's visual presentation is much louder, and this is a recurring pattern that I can expound upon within the exact same scene. When Nabiki is first introduced, she's shown in her casual outfit, but upon learning that a prospective fiancé is on his way, she changes into a kimono in an attempt to impress him. Then, once she sees Ranma in her girl form, Nabiki loses interest and ditches the kimono. When she first speaks to Akane, we see her holding a camera, a detail that foreshadows her running joke of selling photos for personal gain. The original anime conveys so much character through its visual framing, even if it diverts from the manga to do so. That's not to say that the remake never interests me, though. I like how expressive Ranma's movements are in his sparring match with Akane. But in the original, Ranma maintains his position until Akane finally throws a serious punch. There's also the scene of Genma and Son crying after their off-screen discussion. In the remake, they're on screen for like 5 seconds. Bang, bang, done. It's a quick joke with little context, and I like that. In Ranma 89, they're on screen for 24 seconds, and the joke is shifted to something slower and more dramatic. The fathers are framed against a setting sun as somber music plays, and when Nabiki walks by, she shares the screen with them. Her quiet confusion occurs alongside the men's sorrow, creating a visual juxtaposition that the remake deliberately avoids for a snappier punchline. There's nothing wrong with either interpretation, but your mileage may vary based on your taste. Personally, more often than not, I prefer the original, and here's why. Ranma 24 punches up the comedy, while Ranma 89 tones it down. Ranma 24 will change the backgrounds, the color palette, the cuts, all things that disrupt the tone or pacing of a given scene and transition it into something else. It will consistently bounce back and forth, giving the adaptation a chaotic and disjointed feeling. The material itself can be pretty unhinged though, so I appreciate how the visuals capture that in such a visceral way. Ranma 89, in contrast, will stack jokes on top of one another through its visual direction, often in ways where one will undermine the tone of the other. Ryoga is pissed at Ranma, and Ranma needs to explain to the class how he stole bread from Ryoga in middle school. Let's have them eat Ranma's apology bread during the flashback. Also this.
Ah, Panda! こっちもパンダなんちゃって。
You see, it's funny because it's bread. Rather than cutting back and forth, it utilizes more distant storyboarding to make the most of each drawing, sometimes holding on single cuts for upwards of 20 seconds. This mixes a much drier sense of humor within the slapstick, and it can be so grounded and understated that sometimes I'd even miss the punchline. Punchline. Like bread. I only recognized Nabiki's outfit swap while I was planning this video, but I sure did feel smart afterwards. Comedy is funnier after you explain the joke, right? Comedy isn't even my biggest issue, though. What really sets the two apart in my mind is the drama. For example, Kuno vs. Ranma. Both versions punctuate Kuno's arrival with an incoming thunderstorm, and they each hit the same narrative beats. But while the content is the same, the presentation differs greatly. In the Remake, the storm progresses artificially. Kuno swings his sword, and suddenly the sky is dark. Ranma pokes Kuno, and now it's raining. In the original, the sky darkens gradually, which gives the Blue Thunder statement a bit more build-up. Ranma doesn't just rush Kuno while he speaks, he dodges a series of attacks as well. When Kuno gets poked, the rain has already started, and Ranma's father doesn't just appear out of nowhere. The whole scene feels more dynamic and natural, like it was made for anime and not just a static manga. In episode 3 of the remake, Ranma jokes about being sexier than Akane, so she beats the shit out of him. In the original, Ranma jokes about being sexier than Akane. The episode ends with her bonking Ranma with Kuno's sword. Next episode, Akane recalls Ranma's comments as she spars with her father. She knocks him out and immediately feels guilty about it. Kasumi then asks her to never strike a boy again. Ranma provokes Akane again, but Akane mentions her sister's promise. Ranma says that it doesn't matter if she hits guys or not, she'll still never get a boyfriend. Akane beats the shit out of him. That's a mini character arc for Akane. She questions herself, tries to change her behavior, and then, in his own shitty way, Ranma encourages Akane to stay true to herself. Sure, Akane might be abrasive at times, but as Tofu-sensei states in the following scene, she can also be kind and sweet. This leads into one of my favorite moments in the entire series. Ranma's legs give out thanks to a calculated push. And despite his previous insults, Akane offers to help him. She even douses him in cold water to protect his precious image of macho masculinity. Ranma may have fought back against Kuno's harassment, but this is the first time Ranma has to rely on Akane, and the first time Akane assists a vulnerable Ranma. As Akane carries Ranma on her back, the world around them fades away, leaving only streetlights as the couple wanders home in the night. In the remake, they're not even centered in the storyboard, and the focus pulls away from them as the cut continues. How intimate. As if that wasn't enough, their eating is synchronized in the next scene of the original. It's so cute. It hardly feels fair to compare the two, honestly, because this just keeps happening. Episode 3 Remake. Akane feels sad because her feelings for Tofu are unrequited, but Ranma cheers her up. They spar for a bit, Ranma calls Akane cute, and then he pokes her in the head. Original 6. Akane feels sad because her feelings for Tofu are unrequited. She throws rocks into a river until Ranma finds her. She tries to leave, but Ranma follows. She starts teasing Ranma for liking her, but Ranma denies it. He falls into the water and transforms, which makes Akane laugh. They stop for burgers on their walk home. Ranma throws his wrapper in the trash. Akane misses her first attempt, but succeeds on her second. Akane talks about Tofu for a bit, and Ranma says she must have a broken heart. He immediately regrets this statement. Akane gets mad, and Ranma tells her to move on. They argue. Akane runs away. Ranma's dad tells him that people can hurt each other unintentionally, and that it's Ranma's responsibility to comfort Akane. They spar for a bit, Ranma calls Akane cute, and then he pokes her in the head. Once again, these stories go from point A to point B in vastly different ways, and the original has 2 extra scenes that I adore. In fairness, I like what the remake does with the material it has. The sparring feels intimate, and Akane's reaction is cute. Shout out smear frames. It's just, can you understand why I felt like something was missing in the remake? I can make this same argument for comedy too. Episode 4. By 3 aspect ratios are now obsolete. Ryoga is lost. He stumbles into a rural town and defeats a boar. They give him directions to Tokyo. He goes to Hokkaido. Ranma wears girl clothes. Ryoga arrives at Furinkan and challenges Ranma to a fight. He leaves? Days pass. Ranma tells the Tendo family about bread trauma. Ryoga returns. Ranma throws bread at him. They fight. Plot things happen. 720p didn't exist yet. Ryoga is lost. He stumbles into a rural town and defeats a boar. They give him directions to Tokyo. He goes to Hokkaido. Ranma wears girl clothes. Ryoga runs into a tree branch on his way back to the town he came from. Ranma wears more girl clothes. Ryoga arrives at Furinkan and challenges Ranma to a fight. Ranma leaves to grab bread and then throws it at Ryoga. Bread trauma! They fight. Ryoga gets lost in the middle of their fight. He ends the episode in the same town he started in. Ryoga is lost. Akane notes that her hair is finally longer than Kasumi's, but it's still not enough to make Tofu like her. Ryoga returns and gets kicked in the head with a soccer ball. Nabiki takes bets on who will win the battle. Kuno is a creep. The rivals fight for real this time. Everyone tries to sabotage Ranma for personal gain. Plot things happen. This version of events pays extra attention to Nabiki and Kuno, 2 characters who aren't present in the new version. It leans harder into each joke, with the villagers thinking they could turn Ryoga into a tourist attraction for their town, and with the bread setting up multiple different payoffs. It even highlights Akane's long hair as a symbol of both her admiration and jealousy for Kasumi. Call it filler if you want, but these scattered details all combine to help each character feel more realized. And it gives the story a completely different appeal. Some of you are going to hear most of this stuff and think, wow, new Ranma is so much better. And I can accept that. Discourse in the anime community can all too often boil down to, I'm right and you're wrong. But can't we all just agree to disagree? Maybe you think slapstick is hilarious. Maybe you prefer the new art style. Maybe you want nothing more than a faithful manga adaptation. I think that's fair. But then there's the parasocial part of me that latched onto Ranma years ago and can't let go. Try as I might, I simply can't shake that initial reaction of, it's not the same. I don't like this change. They ruined this moment. Why does Mikado have no aura? Where are Ranma's parfaits? Countless anime original changes I liked are gone, but at least we got a random Superman joke for Kuno. It's just not the same. It was never going to be the same. I've had several ideas for another one of these comeback videos. I'll try to write scripts like I used to, and I'll try to be clear and concise and get straight to my main point. But then this wave of anxiety will suddenly wash over me, and I'll either start rambling or not be able to form ideas at all. I keep trying to approach these videos like I'm someone else who used to exist, but no longer does. And I'm constantly worried that the person I am now just isn't the one people want to see. As I heal and learn, I look to my past to see what progress I had been making. But it's not so simple that I can just pick that back up. The person I was had bad habits and insecurities that I've since confronted. And a small part of the childish hope I once had is just dead now. I've had to accept that I've been extremely hurt if I want to move forward. And I won't be happy if I go back to the toxic masculinity that told me to bury my feelings. I was living on autopilot. I was filling a role. I was acting. And the performance was killing me. When I thought I was a guy, I never felt my emotions in the moment. I let people take advantage of me and treat me like trash, and that's all I ever felt I deserved. So when decades of unprocessed pain and self-hatred became impossible to ignore any longer, I self-destructed. I retreated from the rest of the world. I let my depression win, and left my passions to die. I will never get those years of my life back. I will never erase the pain I have endured. I will never go back to being the person I used to be. But thankfully, there is a bright side. When I started HRT, it was like a dam burst. I could suddenly feel every emotion intensely. And in a way, that was relieving. I could enjoy living in the moment and being true to myself. The only problem was that I'd never really learned how to do that. I hadn't gone to therapy or figured out any other coping strategies aside from, well, making YouTube videos. But even then, I could never appreciate my own work. I would always find something wrong with it, and then that negativity would overshadow the rest of the project. CinemaSinsting, more like peak dumbass, a reflection on Math Whiz. But hold on, isn't that the exact mentality my videos were made to counter? I like feeling and discussing my emotions honestly, even if they're negative and overwhelming. I value art that is introspective and vulnerable, even when that art has flaws. What's so wrong about enjoying my own creative process? Do the positives really need to be lost among the negatives? No, they don't. I started making YouTube videos over 12 years ago when I was a freshman in high school. I'm 27 now, and I've learned a lot since I first started doing this. I used to think that I wanted to be another face in the crowd, but in reality, I think what I was looking for was a supporting role. I want to use my experiences to help others avoid making the same mistakes I did. I want to nurture and protect. I want to be someone's shoulder to cry on. I just need to recognize that I deserve these things too. Look, there's nothing inherently wrong with masculinity. I still love wrestling and shonen battle stories because watching ideologies clash in a battle for survival is fucking awesome. It's just not me. I am not who I used to be. And similarly, Ranma 24 is not the Ranma I once knew. It puts more emphasis on the action, and that's just not what hooked me in the original. Ranma 89 has anime-only flourishes that give Ranma and Akane more downtime from the jump that I found crucial to me investing in their relationship so heavily. It's less about the in-your-face spectacle and more about the subtlety in between. But you know what? Ranma 24 has more fashion. The action animation is fluid, and it has a really cute ED. The unique intros are neat too. One big criticism of the original anime is that the staff changed after episode 18, and while I still enjoyed a lot of what came after, only a handful of episodes hit like that first batch. Maybe future seasons of the remake will outclass the remaining, oh Jesus, no! The key difference between me and Ranma is that I can't time travel to have a conversation with my former self, but I can still watch Ranma 89. The remake doesn't erase the original from existence, so I can be content with the fact that another one of my favorite anime has 2 fun adaptations. Some properties don't even get one. Others, well, I mean, they get one, but it's like Monkey's Paw. Boy, I sure do hope that the original anime doesn't get taken down from streaming sites in a few years. That would be tragic. Well, at least I got a physical copy of the first 18 episodes as a gift. I'd buy the rest if I had the disposable income, but I do not. And with the direction the country's headed in, I don't think I'm gonna have that disposable income anytime soon. Support me on Patreon. Nothing is the same as it used to be, and that's okay. I will keep moving forward anyway.